Okay. And we're back. We are live. Hello, everybody.
Hi. it's been a while, but we're back.
Yes, we are back. And tonight is so cool because it's just us. I think this is like our first full chat where it's just me and you, not like a quick like hop on, go vote type thing, or this crazy thing happened to me, y'all. I need to tell you right now, but like a really
Exactly.
awesome planned, conversation between the two of us. So welcome to Mommas with Commas. We are so excited to be on live tonight. I had a lot of people reach out to me today and they were like, you haven't been doing it in a while. We're happy that you guys are coming back on. So, me and Nico feel the same way. We're going to talk a little bit about how our year is going. Um, a lot of the things that we've been doing behind the scenes, we come on a lot and we talk to other people that's making moves, out there in the world. We ask questions, we interview them, we share our feedback, but very rarely do we get an opportunity to come on and share with you guys what we have going on and potentially how we could, help you guys and how you guys can help us. So that's what we're excited about tonight. Hey, mama. We want I've got like so many notes, so don't y'all pick on me. I've got like so many notes, Shaniqua, because I want to make sure I like get through as much as we can. But
I do too. I have my notes on my other laptop here, so we're gonna go
good.
through because it's a
We're
lot of
gonna
little
go through
information.
it. Yes, we're gonna go through it. First and foremost, we would like to ask that if you could, drop your city. We are trying to track where we are mostly viewed
Mhm.
live. So we would love for you guys to drop your city in the comments. Let us know what's going on, how you feeling,
Everybody
and
in the house, and
yes. I think I said this before. I'm in Florida. I've been here for now going on 12 years, which is crazy to me. But still, like my biggest connection is Richmond. So that's where I'm from. That's where I was born. That's where Nico and I met. That's where we raised, started raising our kids. So, we have a lot of family there. So it's just so cool to still have such a big connection to Richmond, RVA.
yes.
Yes. So, okay, like I took my time getting ready for this show today. Like, because y'all, when we have guests, I'm always so stressed out. I don't know why. I don't know if Nico feel the same way, but I be like so stressed out. I want the show to go perfectly. Like, I want to make sure I'm on time. I want to make sure, I'm dressed appropriately and, my lighting is great. And so today we didn't have no guests. So I spent like the whole day, like on and off, getting ready, like figuring out angles and all that good stuff. And literally like 5 minutes before I was supposed to be on here, my internet died. Like our internet went out. And I was like, Nico, I was just tired. I was like, Nico, my internet not working. She was like, well,
It's
we could schedule it. And I was telling myself, yeah, don't, we can. And then all of a sudden it popped back on. So we're happy to be
it's
on.
is it raining there? Is it like raining?
No, it's beautiful. Like no storms, no weather, nothing. It's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know what happened, I have no idea. So,
I
but we're
know it's
here.
yes. Yes.
We are here. I'm gonna try to connect on Instagram too, live. I never go live on Instagram, but I'm gonna try it out. Like I'm gonna try it out tonight and see. You look gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you. You do as well. I love the glow.
Amazing.
You have a glow today. I like
My
it.
little highlight girl, my little pineapple highlight Lala got me for Mother's Day. So
It looks good, girl. It looks good. I like it.
thank thank you. Let me see. Let's start with how you doing. Like, what's up? What's going on?
So I've been doing all right. I've been doing okay. It's just the weather's changing, so it is getting hot. Here in VA, in
Yeah,
the northern region, it's a little cooler. It's getting hot, but it's not as humid. Of course, the heat comes down.
yeah.
So just working and trying to transition. I did get a new vehicle finally. So
Yay! Congratulations.
thank you. So that has been exciting. Um, but other than that, just working and multitasking. School's about to end. It's college end for my son. He had his exams last week, and then we have possibly I think it's 3.5 or 3 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks before my youngest one is out of school. So for the
Right,
summer,
right.
so we're just transitioning for that for the summer and trying to get things going. I know that things will be lifted here permanently with no mask and
Mhm.
capacity restrictions as of the 29th, I think, or 28th or 29th of May, something like that. I
Oh,
noticed when I was out, yeah,
congratulations.
I noticed when I went out today, people were walking in stores and stuff without masks already.
Yeah,
So, well,
they ready.
of course, they said, if you have, your vaccination, you don't have to wear your mask and things of that nature. So things are starting to change a little.
Yeah, yeah.
So how are things
Well,
with you?
I have a list. No, but everything is good. We'll slowly touch on everything through the conversation tonight, but
Got it.
it's just been like a really cool year. I think that a lot of things that we as a people or we as move makers, business
Uh-oh.
in the past, year or so, we're actually getting ready to be able to touch these things, feel these things, see these things, and that's super exciting.
It is. It
Um,
is.
I'm seeing a lot of people just blessings just happening left and right. I think that it's amazing. I'm looking forward to traveling again and just living
Yeah,
life, without a mask on.
I know.
But yeah, no, but
Just,
like our big things that's going on, you mentioned school and stuff like that. Like two of our sons are graduating next Friday, so we're really excited about that. Yes, that's
yes.
been, super, super exciting. PJ, my youngest, believe it or not, is going to be a senior. So my
I
oldest
know.
graduated last year from college, and my youngest is going to be a senior in high school. So it's crazy. Like I'm an empty nester. Like I'm starting to have like empty nest issues.
No.
I took my kids with me everywhere, like they went with me to jobs, they just everywhere. They travel with me, they went with me to the grocery store, and I don't have them anymore, to go with me places. So I'm like, do I need a dog? Just like I need something to be near me. I have no
Right.
kids no more.
But well,
Yes.
that's cool. A
So
travel
who else
companion.
is going through some empty nest? Huh?
I said, no, well, you like to travel, so that should be something that you could continue to do. And, and the kids can travel with you now, still, but you
Yes.
create different memories as they become young adults. But I know what you mean. It is
Yes.
tough. I do look forward to the holidays and things of that nature and try to
Mhm.
coordinate with them. So now I'm like, I tell them at least once a year, you make sure you come see your mama, you come seeing your mom, so things like that.
Isn't
So
that
I get
something?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And you got one
the
baby still there that's like bouncing around. I always say Beyonce be bouncing. You got
she
one
do.
still bouncing around. It's a blessing, to have them there and making all that noise that drives us crazy. But yeah, I'll be that
Exactly.
mom that's like, all right, guys, what are we going to do this year? We have to stay in touch and keep in touch. So, who else is
Right.
experiencing this? And what do you guys do to help with your empty
Yes.
nesting time?
Well, I know one
Like, do you
thing
go
you
get a
can
dog?
you can definitely downsize. That's one good thing right now. You
Yes,
can, the market is great. So if you're looking
yes.
to, sell your home and downsize, you definitely can get, that's a great, thing that you can do as far as selling a house and getting that collateral.
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
um,
we had a big bunch and, 5-bedroom, 6-bedroom house. We are just ready to downsize and, enjoy a smaller space that you don't have to keep up with, especially all these empty
Exactly.
bedrooms. Just a reminder of everybody being gone. So yeah, so
Exactly.
that's like the biggest thing. Also, I want to give a shout out to myself because I'm celebrating 20 years as an esthetician this year. So that's super exciting. I've been doing it since 2001. Last year, I decided to open up or start a small space in a small studio here in Jacksonville. And, the pandemic was kind of weird. Facials was one of the maybe last things that people was thinking about doing because, you all up in each other's spaces. There was a lot of precautions that needed to be taken. It was just like a crazy time for the industry. So,
Mhm.
I hadn't been in the clinic for a while. So what I'm going to do is pull out and we're going to start doing wellness events, which is something that I want to talk about later on in the conversation. So just keeping up with, my skill and my passion and being able to help people with their skincare, but on the go. So,
Mhm.
it's going to be cool. I'm checking in on Instagram. So I'm like, what's going on over here? Like, these are probably like Toya live. Like, is that the right Toya? Because I don't never go live on
Me neither.
Instagram.
I thought about it and I said, nah, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah,
But
they're probably like, that's weird. What is she doing? Um, so yeah. So Nikwa, it has amazing, amazing things going on. Right now we have been like glued to the news and just, I guess the hiring world on all the new things that's happening, all the hire signs, all the changes that, the working force is requesting. We're like, are they going to listen to us? Are they going to make some of these changes? Like, are they going to pay us more? Are we going to have better benefits? Will we have a flexible schedule? Will we be able to work from home? We have all of these things, going on right now in the working force. And Nika is, this is her field. Like, this is what she does. She hires people for high level, high tier jobs, and she's going to help us out with some tips and some information to help us get hired and be amazing. Oh my gosh, y'all, what is up, Instagram? I got a couple of viewers. I'm on live tonight, guys, for probably the first time in like 3 years. So, hey, thanks for tuning in on Instagram. So, I'm going to start off with asking you questions.
okay.
Yeah, and the crazy part about it is your questions are on my phone, and my phone's on over here. So, I'm going to have to end it and circle back. But yeah, let's just, I guess, start off with um what are you seeing in the industry right now as far as um these demands that the working force has, these new demands with higher pay, better benefits? Are companies being more flexible? Like, what's your feedback there? What do do I just go in and be like, look, this is what I want, y'all gonna hire me for this? When do I start?
Right.
Right.
Um, so all right, so let's go back to your first question about like the market. So the market's kind of crazy right now. And that's a good segue into, a lot of people are working remote right now because of COVID. A lot of organizations shut down and have a lot of their employees, unless you were an essential worker. Essential workers, of course, worked during the whole pandemic. And a lot of essential workers, as we know, were like grocery store, people who worked in the warehouse that, supplied and helped out with shipping of food and things of that nature, hospitals, people who worked for the government sector that had to, I guess they have certain levels, and certain levels within that sector have to come in and things of that nature. So, but majority of us have been working from home. This is something I love because I've been working from home for the past 3 years. So when this came about, it was very easy for me, and I liked it to continue with it. And I like the fact that a lot of companies saw the financial aspect of it, where you don't have to lease buildings, you don't have to, you know, invest in a lot of commercial real estate, where you can just have one building as your corporate headquarters and then kind of employ a lot more people to get the job done. But then you also have those companies where they're not open to it. You know, they're still very much with the wanting to be visible and see things face to face. A lot of people are not liking to work from home. You know, they like to go into the office. They like the social aspect of it, you know, things of that nature. So I had looked up a couple of stats, and, you know, the number of people who work from home has increased 140% since 2005. So that's crazy. How much, you know, 4.3 million people in the US work from home at least half the time. So before the pandemic, there were, you know, people working from home at least 2 or 3 times a week. I know here in the DMV area, you have people who may work from home on Fridays because the commute is so crazy. And so what they do is they try to reduce the amount of people traveling and commuting, so they allow those work from remote on Fridays. Excuse me. And that goes back to what I was saying, you know, 85% of companies in the US are hybrid employers. You know, a lot of employers see the benefits of having, you know, that hybrid environment. You know, a lot of call centers, you know, you don't have to house so many or have so many levels of people or space, office space. So, I mean, that in that sense, as far as talking about the market, you know, right now it's a shift, and people are seeing that they're worth more, that they've had that time to kind of grow within themselves and their skills. Some people even took advantage of the time and taking classes to enhance skills. And so they're realizing that, you know, the money that they probably was making before the pandemic, they're really going to need more. And they feel like their skill set matches that. So I know with the hospitality industry, they have been struggling. Restaurants, hotels, in certain areas, they're giving out, you know, bonuses to get people to come back to the industry, because, you know, it's some of those jobs are very low paying jobs, as far as being able to take care of a family. You know, it just goes back with even minimum wage and things of that nature. It's just hard. It's tough. You know, they really should pay more, you know, especially people love to travel. So you want to have people who love what they do and can afford to work that job, as far as, you know, being able to pay their bills, and they're not stressed and overwhelmed about how they're going to, you know, live in paycheck to paycheck. So that's kind of the problem right now, is people are wanting to, you know, change gears, do something different, you know, make more money. Then you have a wave of people who are not wanting to go back into the office. They feel like they still need time. You know, they don't want to. They like being able to work remote. They see how much money they save. If you look at people who live in certain cities where they commute to work every single day, that's an extra expense that you have to budget for, just commuter expense. And sometimes you think about it, depending on where you live and what city you were living in and where you're commuting from. You know, I'm originally from New York, so a lot of people, you know, worked in Manhattan. And if you lived in any of the 5 boroughs or even in Jersey, you're commuting every day. So you're getting up sometimes 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning just to get to work by 8. You know, get yourself together, get on the train and do the commute. And then that's a cost too. So, and then if you live in Jersey and you work in the city, there's a work tax. So it's just so much stuff that, you know, people just had time during the pandemic to take a look and reflect. And so they want different. They want something different. So it'll be interesting to see how the companies will deal with this new wave of people looking for work. You know, I just think that employers should be a little bit more open to the remote virtual capacity for some of their jobs. A lot of the jobs you can do from home.
Mhm.
Um, and you don't, especially, for those people who live so far away from where they
Mhm.
work and things of that nature, be a little bit more, even if you don't want to, some companies are not really comfortable with 5 days a week right now, maybe alternate every other week or 2 days
Yeah.
a week or 3 days a week, but at least factor it in and give that flexibility when need be. Because as we know, as mamas, um, we are multitaskers, and
Yep.
our children, a lot of times they get sick. And if we had the flexibility to coordinate and work from home and still make that doctor's appointment and still do those things and be able to handle our business financially, it's better for us, because then it doesn't seem like we're always taking off time to go to a doctor's appointment or go,
Right.
I don't know how many times that I've gone through just stressing myself out because I don't want to take too much time, because I had two children that at that time that I had to make appointments for. So it always
Mhm.
scheduled both of them for the same time. So I wasn't taking
Mhm.
so many days,
Yep.
and things of that nature. Where if I had that flexibility where I can say, well, on Friday, I'm going to work from home. I can go to the doctor's. It's closer to where I live, and then
Yep.
come home and within an hour, really lunchtime, and then get back to work. So,
Right.
it's just having that flexibility.
Yes. The
Yeah.
flexibility has truly spoiled me, I tell you. It has I didn't think I needed it. I didn't think I needed the flexibility. I thought that I was cool with, at the tail end, right before everything went down last March, I was traveling 2 weeks. I was in Florida, 2 weeks I was in New York. And I literally split my life. I was like living in two different places, and the cost was tremendous. It was tremendous for me and the company. And to see us not only be able to sustain, remotely 100%, but
Mhm.
actually be to grow. It's been, an eye opener for us, and we're working on restructuring ourselves, within
Mhm.
the company that I work with. So I think you're right. I think we're going to see a lot of restructuring. I kind of want to call the shots and be able to tell people, hey, look out for this, look out for that. But a lot of companies are just peeling it over right now and trying to figure out the best way to go about this, especially since right now, the unemployment is still available to the majority of the states, and people are still able to work different gig jobs to bring in extra money. It's just that competition is still there, and it gives businesses some time to kind of figure things out. And see, I was listening to a Nipsey Hussle interview last week, and he actually was talking about this. It was the craziest thing. Like, I literally like played it back and listened to it
Mhm.
again, because I was like, he's God, you know what I'm saying? But he was just talking about how the industry, the model, the employment model itself needs to change and will undergo a change. And
Right.
the best position in the model is to be on the leadership side. So, even if you are a hired employee and not on a leadership team, I would highly suggest for you guys to kind of figure out in what ways you can be a part of, the change in your company, and creating, that cool, new, unique model for what we're all looking for right now. So good luck
It's
to everybody with that. And, let us know
yeah.
what you guys as companies are coming up with, for sure.
Most definitely. I mean, it's definitely something that I think people should incorporate in their business model.
Yeah.
I know I have some clients that I work with that, I have proposed that to them, because, companies that, another statistic, what I use when I explain to clients is that, companies that allow remote work have 25% lower rate of turnover, because you're providing that environment on top of having that non-micromanagement environment. That's another big
Yeah.
issue, that I think that a lot of companies may have problems with, because they are big micromanagers. And if
Yeah.
you're in a remote capacity, they try to find ways to micromanage. Now, there are people who are not able to work in a remote capacity, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. There are definitely opportunities out here where you don't have to work in that capacity, and you can actually be, face to face. So I think it's definitely now a time for people to, continue to brush up on your skills. If you
Mhm.
have an opportunity to work with a career coach or someone of that nature, definitely, work with one, work on your resume, work on interviewing techniques, different things of that nature, because it's definitely a growing market right now. But you want to make sure that you're staying up to date and you're not outdating
Yeah.
yourself or overbidding yourself.
There you
um,
go. There you go.
yes, most definitely. So I was going to, unless Toya has any more questions, I was going to kind of go over some of those things with you guys, like some interview
Let's
tips.
do it.
So just bear. I have notes and notes like Toya. Um, okay. So one thing I just wanted to talk about. I have talked to Toya about this too. When you are, and I get a lot of people call me and ask me, how do I prepare for an interview? What can I do to prepare for an interview? I haven't interviewed in like 10 years. I've been on my job for 10 years. I just got laid off, or they're downsizing, or the hours, whatever it may be. So you haven't really been. It's been a minute. So you know these are some pointers to kind of help you, to prepare you so you can be more relaxed and at ease when you have your interview. So the first thing that's most important is carefully examine the job description. Okay, that is the most important thing. One thing, and as a recruiter or HR manager, when you're interviewing someone and they have no idea what the job is, they don't really know about the job description, or
Mm.
they've applied to so many jobs, they are like, wait, which one is this again? That's like a big
Yes.
um you know it-
Or
so
if
make
they don't know nothing about the company, it's like, dude, I'm interviewing you. You don't know how many locations it is. You don't know where we started from. You don't know. You don't know. You want to come work at the spot, and you don't even know what's the services on the menu.
oh,
So let's talk about that for a minute, y'all. Do your research, right?
do your research, okay? And you also want to consider, and when you're examining your job description, is the qualifications of that job, right? So you want to make sure that, number one, that you understand the qualifications. If there's something in that job description, let's say it's an application that they're using and you are not too familiar, you research it. Google is wonderful. Research it, find out what
Mm-hmm.
that is, because it could be something that you are very well versed in, but maybe the terminology has changed, or something of that nature, or maybe they call it something, or
Yep.
it could be a lot of times, and I would just say this, a lot of times job descriptions are so generic and it's uniform for the company, just to make sure that everything stays in line with a lot of procedures, to make sure that it's not discriminatory, or they're not trying to single anyone out or anything of that nature. So it's just uniform to assure that everything is up to standard. So I
Mm-hmm.
would definitely research and look into it when you're examining, and make sure you understand the qualifications, and make sure that you are a fit. you know
Exactly.
so
Y'all
you
don't be
prepare.
on there applying for a judge's position. Some, oh, this is popped up on my screen or LinkedIn or whatever it is. You just out there applying for any old thing. But at the same time, don't I'm gonna use your word. I think you said undercut. Don't undercut yourself. You may very well have the skill. It just may be a tweak in the terminology, like Shaniqua
Right,
said, or a
right,
different way that they're kind of explaining things. I know that not LinkedIn, TikTok, they had a whole lot of positions right before COVID, and I would sit there and read through like the job descriptions and stuff like that. And it was so cool how they was kind of explaining the jobs. It was the new
right.
lingo, but I knew exactly what it translated to. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. This is a really funky job. But yeah, I mean, that's why it's great to have a job coach or like a professional like yourself, to kind of team up with on a mentorship level to help you kind of navigate through those things. So
Yes.
people, like, yes, we're on Mamas with Commas every once in a while. Right now, we're going to get back, more consecutive with it, but we also have day jobs. And this is one thing
Yeah.
that Nico does, and she is amazing at it. I mean, you guys will be surprised at the type of jobs that she hires for, and the type of people that she vets for these jobs. So she definitely has a skill set to help you guys out and navigating your resume and uh
Yes. Wait, you know
yeah,
what? Let me let
interview.
me let me get into. I'm sorry, I said something in mind. Let
Okay.
me just explain my background because I know Toya has explained. I know everybody's probably like, who is she? What is she? So I've been in HR, which is human resources, for 15 years. I started out in project management, working for a telecommunications company. And then I worked my way in from project management into a recruiter role, and then was a recruiting manager, managing director. Now I work with it's called a senior DoD recruiter. Basically, I recruit for all cleared roles that work for the government sector. So, dealing with a lot of different top secret type of material. So they have to have these clearances. It takes anywhere from 6 months to a year to get. And so it's very intense. It's almost as if, I mean, they put you through a lot to get the clearance as far as the background. So, I don't know if you guys ever heard, like, a lot of people who work for the government, like judges and things of that nature, they usually go through this rigorous, where they go back and talk to like elementary school teachers and neighbors and like all of this stuff. So, but they, once you're in that rim, you do get paid very well. But it is a lot of terminology, so a lot of technical stuff, a lot of on the technical end, working with servers and building programs and things of that nature. So you may see me post. I need to get better with it. I've just been really busy, but post the jobs that I have available. So if you know anyone who's interested, that has a clearance, have them reach out to me. I may also have jobs that are non-cleared as well, that I can, either have someone or a colleague or someone that may be recruiting for, that I can definitely refer you to. So, the market is definitely growing. I would say that, like I said earlier, just make sure that you're prepared. And so these are just some of the things that I've seen, and I've heard in meetings that I've had with some of the other colleagues, and working with, anywhere from corporate recruiting to staffing companies and things of that nature. These are the things that they ask for a lot of the times. So, or would like to see. So, the other thing I would definitely say, when preparing for an interview, is just to make sure that not only do you have a good understanding, but why are you interested in the job? What attracts you to the job? That's something that a lot of employers will ask, and they will want to know kind of like your interest and what drew you to the job. So make sure, because sometimes that throws people off, because you're not really like thinking about that aspect, because a lot of us, let's be honest, we need money. We're looking for a job because, either we hate where we are, we don't like, our environment, and maybe a toxic work environment, or we just want more money. And so you just want to make sure that you don't sound desperate, that you are, someone that's going to contribute to the organization, and have a skill set that they would be happy to have added to their team. And so you want to build that confidence beforehand so that it shows in your interview. So these are steps that will help you with being confident when you interview, and not be so nervous, to be prepared. The other thing is, Toya had mentioned this, was to prepare research on the company. Make sure that you understand, who the company is that you're interviewing with. One of the questions they definitely ask is, what drew you to, what do you know about us? What brings you to apply to work with us? and things of that nature. So you want to make sure that the company. You don't want to be like, I mean, I think the second worst thing you can say is, besides, what job is this again? Is, no, I really don't know. What do you do? So you apply to a job, you have no idea what the company is. You could be jumping out of airplanes for all you know. You just apply.
Yes,
So just,
they
you
got
know,
you.
these are simple things that, it just makes a world of difference. And it also makes you look good, in an interview. It looks like, okay, this person actually took the time to find out about us and what we do and really know. So she really must be interested in wanting to come aboard, and work with us. And then let's see. I think that's pretty much like the major keys in preparing for an interview. I don't know. Could you think of anything else, Toy, that you may have some questions on about preparing for an interview? Can you
Okay,
hear me?
so I I have a really shaky connection. My
Okay.
bad, everybody. Like it's just trying to sabotage the night, but it's all good. Because I don't have these problems normally. Like I'm normally on my game, just like chilling, just using the internet. But anyway, so I got know the company. I got research the job description or like understand the job description. I may have cut out. Did I miss anything?
So it was, examine the job description,
Hmm.
understand the qualifications, and make sure that the qualifications are set kind of what your experience and background is, within that in that job description.
Right.
Research the company and make sure the company and things of that nature. And then the last but not least, I would say, is write down some questions to ask in the interview. At least have two. If you
Yes.
can't get two, have one. At least one. You got to ask a question.
That's what I was
I
gonna
know.
say. To whether it be something that you wrote down to ask from maybe your research, or if it's just from you listening to, the person that's interviewing you, and just kind of come up with a couple of questions because they're gonna ask, do you have any questions? Is it cliche or like wrong to ask about salary or scheduling during the interview?
So it depends on the situation. If you're if a headhunter, staffing agency, or something of that nature contacted you and is setting up,
Hmm.
they're like the middleman in a sense, and they're setting up the interview because that's their client. No, I would not discuss salary, because the salary is being discussed by the staffing agent or that recruiter that recruited you to talk with that company or set up the interview with their client. So I wouldn't, and the recruiter that's setting this up for you and talking to you about the job and seeing if this is going to be a good fit for you should explain this to you before you go to your interview. So you don't want to discuss that, because you'll be working with the agency per se, or with that staffing company. Um, if it's just a direct hire and it's more of a corporate, someone from the manager reached out to you directly or something of that nature, that's something that a lot of times should already be there. And what I
Yeah.
mean by there is, if it's not posted or something there, then yes, that should be discussed before. It really should be discussed before you set up the interview. And I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you two reasons why. One reason is because you're wasting, you're not even your time, but the company's time.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you already knew when pre-screening, that's the whole point of pre-screening. So I'll jump back to that. After, um, there should be a pre-screening that takes place before they set you up for an interview. And in that pre-screening, they're asking you those questions. What are you looking for in salary? How many years do you have in this? Just simple questions sometimes before passing you on and setting you time up with the manager. So by the time you get to the hiring manager, you should already know what the salary expectations are. Now, the
Right.
hiring manager may ask you what your salary expectations are, and I would stay within that range. Do not go outside that range, because once you do that, you're already counting yourself out.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a situation where you have a rare skill where it's very hard to get that certification or that degree or something of that nature, they may be inclined to just say, yes, we are open to paying you outside of that range. But I wouldn't push it,
Right.
just because there's a lot of people looking for work right now. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying lowball yourself. What I'm saying is don't outmarket yourself, because you can outmarket yourself. You could put yourself in a position where people are like, it's just not going to be reasonable,
Yeah.
So another thing I would definitely do is look at the market in the area that you're looking for. So
There we
if
go.
you were a loan officer, a nurse, um, an esthetician, an HR manager, Google, I'm not Google, Monster, Dice if you're in IT, a LinkedIn. They have so many different reports that they do based on the region that you live in, because it also is a difference in where you live. If you live in New York and you're moving to North Carolina, you're not going to make what you're making in New York in North Carolina unless you're lucky enough to transfer with your job and they will continue with your salary. So you also have to look into that as well. But make sure that when you're looking at the market in that skill set, that you're not out marketing yourself, or you're out, taking yourself out that market where it's just like over the top, because people like myself, we know what the market looks like. We work with it every day. We work with clients. We know what they're paying. We know what they're going to go up to. So as far as the range, we know what it is. So don't put yourself in a position where you're counting yourself out before you can even get in an interview.
Right. And one thing, see, we have regular conversations about this, y'all. Like this is part of our 3 hour, weekly catch up. So I don't know if
Yes,
y'all
it
want to
is.
call us nerds or just like super into our jobs, but
I know.
yeah, we were talking about this and we were discussing about relocation, because sometimes to get that larger salary, you may have to consider relocating or being flexible to this tremendous, travel situation.
Right.
So, that could be something that you could also consider right now, while if, you're looking for a job or a new career, is maybe looking in a different city. So I was
Yeah.
trying to pull up today. Dunn and Bradstreet is actually moving their headquarters from New Jersey to Jacksonville. So they're going to be creating 500 jobs here in the
That's
Jacksonville area. And I thought that was really cool, to find out. Um, but the main question that they asked on the news was, are you guys bringing, are you transferring people down, or are you going to hire here locally? And they were like, we're going to hire locally. So if you're with companies that are transitioning, I think you can also, take them up on, resituating yourself with that company to other cities. Maybe you still continue to make that money,
yeah.
outside of New Jersey, make that money down here in Florida. You have a big old house.
Yes, I mean, I see that a lot happen with management
Yes,
roles, and like the nurses, with sign-on bonuses and things of that nature, because they are in need of nurses everywhere, pretty much in the hospitals.
right.
Um, and there's a couple of specialty or different job out there that, like a lot of banking industries. I know, in the DMV market, the taxes for a lot of businesses is cheaper in the southern regions. So they're moving a lot of their bigger call centers and things of that nature to cities like, Virginia, or states like Virginia, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia. But yeah, they just, because the taxes is just, it's just better all around for them. And then you can also get people at a lower salary than paying, this tremendous amount as well, and it
Yeah,
still be comparable to the environment around them. What
yeah.
changes that market is when people drive it up by coming from different regions and are able to say what's the pay that they have and buy
Mhm.
over the amount of what things are worth, just to, just pretty much just take it, because so they don't have to compete with anyone. That's what drives the market up and kind of drive a friction with those who are local to
Local,
the
right.
community.
We have that conversation often too. So
Yes.
we have about, Richmond, the Henrico area, they're seeing it a lot there. The cost
Hmm.
of the homes are increasing, or they're having these bidding wars over these homes because you have people, kind of infiltrating your city and your counties, and they're coming with these grandiose salaries, or these savings from, up north, or just, different areas, other regions, and they're settling in and they're able to pay top dollar,
Yeah,
and the competition is real fierce right now. So,
very.
um, yeah, so that's another conversation. We'll get into the whole real estate thing maybe on another Moments with Commas. I'm excited about talking about that one. But
Yes.
yeah, that's, I mean, really good information.
Yeah.
Really, really good
So,
information.
and
Hmm.
I think the only other thing would be resumes. I would hit on, and then I think the resumes. I said the interviews, preparing for an interview, and then there was something else. Questions. I'll do interview questions because that's a good one too. Um, what to expect, like certain interview questions. But really quickly, resume tips, real quick. Um, they say try to keep it to one page, but it's very hard if you are someone who has, like me, been in the industry for 15 years. Okay. I worked, I started out after my project management days, I started out as a contractor and made more money that way. So for me, I liked contract work. I could, make more money. I was able to have more flexibility, and I could, in my mind, I could, be with that company and see if I like it. And within the 6 months to a year, if I don't, I can go to another contract. So and make more money. So that's kind of where it comes into where it's kind of tricky where you could keep it to one page. So with this, I would say if, for a lot of us mamas, let's say we had jobs that, it just we were just working part-time at, let's say, a daycare or something of that nature. I would kind of like turn that into I would say stay at home mom or something of that nature, just to kind of
Yeah.
like cut it short. Because ultimately you were doing that job because you wanted to be home with your children and things of that nature. So I'm not saying eliminate it, but maybe just cut it short and you don't have to get into this big, long, drawn out
Yeah.
description, to kind of make more room. But I mean, that's just one thing because they say some people lose attention if you have pages and pages and pages of stuff. I would say if your resume is 10 pages, we need to take a look at that and cut that down a little bit.
Yes, yes. So I was a hiring manager, and if it was more than two, it was just like, okay, what is this type of deal? I mean, it wasn't even
Right.
like a reality. It was just like, what is this? And you
Exactly.
know, so yeah, so I
Uh,
definitely,
that's
agree.
yeah. And then so you have two people that used to, they hire people and they're telling you, what just kind of take it with a grain of salt. Um,
One or two
avoid
pages, y'all.
avoid spelling or grammar errors. Another biggie. That's number two. Like I would say this, like if you have the money, or two things, if you have the money to invest in your career, in yourself, I would take that and invest and get a resume professionally done. If you don't, and you know someone that does resumes really well, maybe someone who's in the industry like myself, have them do it as a second pair of eyes, or you do it and let them look at it as a second. But I would definitely make sure that you have no spelling or grammar errors. There is I can't think of at the top of my head. I can put it later on. We can add it into our chat when I find it. It's a program. I think it's in Google where you can put the paragraph in this box and it will go grab um, check it, your grammar, and tell you where you even commas and all of those things, and then you
Hmm.
can that could be another proof for you to check, because I know it just depends. I know some hiring managers, if they see something that is spelt wrong, they don't even look at the resume anymore. And
Hmm.
I had one hiring manager. They used to be a professor, and they decided they didn't want to be a professor anymore, and they went into the field that they were teaching. And the resume, I think that one of the words, I guess it was just, I don't know if they were rushing, I don't know what it was, but to me, it wasn't like a big deal. And it wasn't like the whole resume was spelt wrong. And they were just like, nope, I don't want to look at that. If they can't spell, I don't even know what the word was. How would they know how to handle heavier machinery? I'm like,
Oh
well,
gosh.
I mean, what are you gonna say? She's like, oh, okay,
You
great.
have a point there. I don't know. So, y'all, plug your paragraphs into Grammarly, get a second pair of eyes, just make sure when first impressions are lasting. So, that might make or break whether or not you get the opportunity to interview for the job. So,
Yay. So, I think what was the other one? Another one, a good one that I tell people: send your resume as a PDF if you can. The reason I say that, when you save it as a Word document and you send it, it can be altered. If you put it in a PDF, nothing can be altered.
I love
Okay.
that. And sometimes they have a different format of Word, like an older version. And then when
Mm-hmm.
they get it, it's like scrambled
Right.
or it's pushed down. So I agree with you. Definitely send
Most
it in a PDF
definitely.
form.
Another biggie. I'm going to say this. There's two things. Please, when you're saving your resumes, make sure it's a professionally appropriate name, people. We don't need hot mama resume 2022 I don't even want to get that graphic because there's been some things on there I'm just like, whoa. um
Oh man, can I piggyback on that and also remind people to have a professional email?
email. That was my
Like,
second one. Yes, go ahead.
yo,
Yes.
it don't take it only takes 2 seconds to put like your first initial, last name, the year you were born, something, super simple to be able to have it look professional on your resume. Um, I was in a group and like a entrepreneur group, and they were like, "Hey, when are y'all gonna start having your .com type emails?" Like, for an example, Toya Bolden at journeyright.com. And people were like
Gotcha.
offended. They were like, I'm cool with using Gmail, or, what's wrong with Gmail? Gmail's, professional, whatever. And I agreed. I mean, Gmail will get you far. It will not stop the bag. So, just make sure that name is professional, and make sure
Yeah,
when you save your document, they get the name that you saved your document as. So, so make sure you stay in line with being professional and save your document
please,
professionally.
please, people, please. Because I'm gonna be honest. I mean, when people see that, I mean, it's the talk. They're like, "Oh my God, did you see what is Hot Mama 90?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't even want to know. Just and so it's just not professional. Just make sure it's professional. Make sure your email address is professional. Make sure whatever phone number you're giving whoever's calling you for an interview doesn't have "sex me" in the background as a music, or you not on there saying "hello, hello, who this" and stuff like that. Please don't do that. Just leave the regular old that you have called 201 dot 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 or whatever.
Yeah,
If you don't have like a professional message, because that's another turn off. And then
yeah,
don't do this. Don't be like, people play and then you're like on the voicemail and they're like hello and then you wait and then you go. Don't do that either.
yes. I am like, hi, can I speak to? Oh no, oh no.
I
I
mean,
mean, look,
these are just certain things that, I know people are like, oh, that's a little much. But if you're not always going to be looking for a job all the time. These are
yeah,
just pointers and things that, if you're in the job market and you're looking for work, just to kind of alter some things to be
yeah,
professional, to create the space that you want. Because one of the things a lot of people always ask, well, why is it so hard? Why am I not getting called in for interviews? Or why? And these are some of the things that maybe you didn't even think about that we're bringing up today that you could kind of go back and correct.
yeah,
Because it's definitely something that is that you would want to work on so that you could
yeah,
become better and attract what you want. Attract what you want.
absolutely.
Um, The last thing I would say, the last two things I would say is make sure it's easy to read, make sure you have a correct format, structure, and keep it organized and visually appealing, please. Because, I mean, let's not put it in bold font all over the resume. That sounds like you're yelling at the person who's reading it to
Oh
you,
Lord.
reading it in the resume. I mean, you can highlight certain things and bold certain things, but the whole resume does not need to be highlighted in bold.
Right.
Um,
And the name, this was actually just brought up in my world. The name should always be, if you're picking like cool fonts and stuff like that, just try to keep them very simple and very
Right.
professional. Those pretty little cursive letters and things like that, not always can you really understand what that letter is, and you want to make sure you know the spelling of the person's name that you're getting ready to talk to potentially hire for the job. So just keep everything in just very plain text.
Plain text, please, please, please.
Please.
And make sure you're using that grammar, people. Please make sure you're using the grammar, because that's something else that's very important, with the font. And make sure the font is all one font. Like, please just go over it, highlight the whole resume,
Whole thing.
click the font you want, and make sure the whole thing is with the same font. It's nothing
Yes.
crazy to be seeing, this font and then another font, and then this one is bigger than this one. So you're trying to expand it to see what is really highlighted in it, because the resume is a representation of yourself. So think about this. There's a lot of females that I know out there that will not go out the house without some eyelashes, some makeup, fingernails, great, the outfit, whatever. So think about it like that. Your resume is representing you before you even walk in the door. So when they look at it, have that resume match your personality and who you are. As far as professionally, let's keep it
Professionally who you are. Look, Shanika, you might have to say that again. You know what I'm saying? Like, make sure that it is a representation of the you in the position that you're going out for.
Right.
So, you may have worked, and no disrespect, to what I'm about to say, because, I've worked in a daycare center. I haven't worked at Hooters,
Yes.
but if you are applying for the different jobs, you want to, portray a certain you, and, just prepare that in your resume. So when the hiring managers or the people that's doing the pre-screenings, when they're looking at it, they have a great representation of, they're looking at something that really represents who you are. We have a question. Where is the best place to post your resume for agencies to see it?
Okay.
So, like, for an individual.
This is a good one. This is a good question. Yes, thank you, Terry. Thank you. Okay. So I'm gonna name a couple. So monster.com, okay, Indeed, Dice, if you are IT person, Career Builder is another one.
Okay.
Let's see. LinkedIn, if you have a LinkedIn account, that's another thing I will touch on a little bit. If you don't know about LinkedIn, look it up. I would tell you, it's something that's really awesome. Set up a profile. It's
Wait
definitely
a minute. Don't treat your LinkedIn like your Facebook, y'all. It is
no.
professional.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So LinkedIn is like, if you go on there and you comment on somebody else's post, or if you post something on your, on your page, it will go out to everybody that you follow. Like, they'll see it.
Yes.
So, if you're getting frustrated with something, or if you're talking politics, or, don't flirt on there. Just be like, it's like a resume on wheels. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Treat it as such. So, we're so used to having like social sites, but this is like a straight up professional network. So treat it as such.
Yeah, most definitely. Another one, ZipRecruiter. That's another one. ZipRecruiter is another good one. I would say I would try ZipRecruiter and Indeed first. And then I would do Monster. And then go from there. The other ones that I mentioned, I think it was Career Builder, I think, or something like that. But I would go in that realm. Agencies, depending on, your background, and things of that nature, what you're looking for. There's a lot of different types of staffing agencies out there, consulting firms that you can reach out to, give them your resume. They have clients that they work with constantly that are looking for people, and that could be a way in to get into an organization. A lot of them, you may have to start out in a temporary capacity or a contract capacity. There are some agencies that you can get direct full-time placement. If that's what you're looking for, just let them know that's what you're looking for. And then when they come across those opportunities, they'll reach out to you. And that's, those are really good ways, as to get into certain organizations that you may have been trying to get in, and they may have a way, with the hiring managers to get your resume in front of them and things of that nature.
Absolutely. We have like a two-part question. So we have, should you put all of your old jobs on your resume / should you tailor make your resume to fit, the new job? So what's your feedback there?
So yes, I would say, your old jobs, that goes back to, yes, I would definitely, you want to put the jobs that you have been at least 6 months to a year on your resume. And I will tell you why. Because a lot of organizations now, when you apply, they do an extensive background with checking your references. And so what happens is it'll pull up and they'll call on those places, and then it'll come back and say, this is something you left off, or they'll tell you to go back 7 years even when they're doing. And a lot of companies that do that are insurance companies, some banking organizations. If you're dealing with anything like with money and things of that nature, and at a big capacity, they will do that. They will go back 7 years. So you just want to be accurate. You don't want to act like you're hiding something. So I say anything 6 months and above, I definitely would do. If you're doing like day work with an agency, I really wouldn't I would just put the agency itself and how long you were with that agency. I wouldn't keep putting the day work that you put because that's just too much on your resume. Just put the agency that you worked with. Even if you had multiple contracts, just put the agency and how long you were with the agency. And then you can put a brief description of what you did while you were with the agency. And then when you go to the interview, you can get more in depth and say, well, I've been with that agency for 3 years and I was on 3 different assignments. Something to that, effect.
Yeah.
And the other answer to that question, yes, I would definitely make sure my resume is tailored to what you're applying to, but make sure you understand what you're applying to, and make sure you understand what you put on your resume.
Exactly. So I was like by the book, you know what I'm saying? First of all, I was raised real old school, where it's like, you get a job, you keep a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're on the job for the long haul type thing. And I know things are changing these nowadays, and it's more acceptable to not be on a job for 10 years or whatever. But that's just how I was raised, and how I started in working. I would literally keep all my jobs on there because I felt like I needed to be honest. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like if I took something off, I wasn't like, I felt bad, like I'm not being truthful. And, I wanted to make sure I was putting the right thing. So, what would you tell somebody that kind of feels that way in response to also answering the other question?
So as we get older, I don't want to throw anybody out there, but as we get older, if it's a job that you had when you were 18, I think you can leave that off of your resume. I mean, let's start off right at your career, right when you either got out of that technical school, out of that college, out of whatever it was that you were doing, and you got into your first real career role, and you were there for at least 6 months to a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would start there and work my way up from there. I wouldn't really like add all of these things, and that's something that we could do case by case, that I can work with you case by case and say, okay, because, you do want to be honest, because that is, again, your first representation of yourself. You don't want to lie to get in the door, because it's going to catch up to you, whether you lie to get in and you meet with the manager, and let's say, the job, and they do the background and they find out you don't have that degree.
Mm-hmm.
Or this is another thing, and I'm going to bring this up, don't go out there and think you're going to have a fake degree and you're going to get by with it, because it's not going to happen. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
catch it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for one company that they just had a team that physically looked at diplomas to make sure that the seal was correct. And if it wasn't, they had a whole team to follow up to investigate. And if it
Wow.
was fake, then it was like a process. Like, I didn't even know they did
Yeah.
such a thing. So you just want to avoid that. You don't want to have to go through that. So I would say, start off where your first real job that started you off in your career moving forward. That was at
Yeah.
least 6 months to a year, because it will pop up, if someone or organization does an extensive background where they verify your employment, it will pop up. So
Oh, we got another good question. Thanks.
I like the questions. Go ahead.
We
Go
love
ahead.
the questions, so that's good. So I'm gonna say, should a man or woman? So should a man or woman wear a suit to an interview or formal? Like, should they wear dress shirt and slacks, or do you dress accordingly? Like, if you're applying for a warehouse job, do you kind of, can you dress down? Or if you're going to apply at Chick-fil-A, or, do you dress,
Right.
semi-professional? Like, what's the dress code? What's the expectation there?
So I'm old school, people. I'm going to say the first impression, again, people, is everything. So
Mhm.
yes, I'm going to dress to impress, because you're trying to get the job. I would definitely wear, for guys, okay, let's give an example, warehouse. I would definitely a collared shirt. I mean, you don't have to wear a tie, but at least, like a nice clean collared shirt, some nice slacks, maybe even a blazer. But you want to look presentable. You want to come there and you want to tell them, I am the one for this job. Not only am I the one, and you're going to pay me what I'm looking for, I came in
Mhm.
here dressed the part, and my resume matches what I look like as well. So
Yeah.
that's, and for women as well. Like, women, listen, there's etiquette. No short dresses where you sit up, you can see right up your dress.
Yeah.
Please button up. I mean, I wore this because I usually know this is a work shirt. So when, even though you're not, like right now, we're not doing face-to-face interviews. So we're on a video call. So don't get lazy, folks. Just because you're on a video call, dress. Even if you got to dress from the waist up, dress. Don't come
Yeah.
on there with a t-shirt, with holes, or a Biggie shirt. I love Biggie, but I'm not wearing that in my interview. I don't want people to know, they don't need to know your business that you listen to Biggie, on your off time. You know what I mean? That's not appropriate. You know, you want to get the job. You're not there yet, and it's casual Friday. Okay. That's not where we're at. Where you're trying to get in the door.
Mhm.
So ladies, like, this is sufficient right here. This button, like this, you don't need to have your chest like this and cleavage. That now, some people, it's not professional. I'm just telling you the professional things to do.
Right.
You
Right.
want to be professional, and you want to be taken seriously, ladies. Okay. I don't wear hoops. I wear these when I go to my interview, things of that nature. I don't wear a whole lot of jewelry. I may just wear, like one chain and things of that nature, because I just don't want to come in there and feel like all eyes on me, distracting with all of this stuff going on. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because you want to be able to be people to take you serious, know that you are about your business, and you didn't come to play. You came in there, you want to get this job, and you're going to handle your business. Because
Right.
I'm a person, I'm professional, very professional, where I come in, I do my job, and then I go home and be me, as far as,
Yeah.
relax with my family and things of that nature. But when business is business, and one thing I've noticed as a female, especially being in manager roles and having to manage men as well as women, they will test you depending on how you carry yourself. And they may
Absolutely.
take you a certain way, or may take you as their friend instead of their
Yeah.
boss. Or they think they can run over you, or just different things that you just want to uphold a certain professionalism about you. So yes, to answer your question, I would dress professionally. At least, if you can't be fully suited, I would definitely have it like a blazer, and nice shirts, and nice slacks. I definitely would not come in with an interview with jeans on. Um, T-shirts, any of that is a no. I don't care if you were, interviewing at Chick-fil-A. I mean, you need to be presentable, because I know when I go to Chick-fil-A, I don't want to look at anybody that looks crazy when I'm getting my food.
Yeah.
So, look presentable. So
Yeah.
that's my take on it. I know people
Thank
like,
you.
she's
And
crazy.
I'm gonna just add a little bit to that because I was a manager for 8 years at a job here, and we would get through the interview part. They would, the interviewer, they would come in, they would look great. I would end up hiring them. So now I have a new hire, on my
Mm-hmm.
hands. And then it's time for training. And our training was in person. They would have to
Mm-hmm.
literally come into the store, into the spot, and train with me. And sometimes they would show up in completely like relaxed clothes,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
it's
not
like they
good.
just
No.
jeans,
Mm-hmm.
the short clothes. So continue the professionalism,
Mm-hmm.
from the moment you walk in for the interview, throughout the training, right up until that moment where you have to, wear the uniform or the dress code that the job calls for. Just
Mm-hmm.
be as professional as you can
Be,
throughout that whole process. So you
Please.
had, do you want to share a little bit about a training? The tables were reversed. It wasn't necessarily the new hires, but it was the hiring team during the online training, and they were unprofessional.
Listen. Oh my God. So this happened to my daughter. Okay. So me, I'm an HR professional. So me being an HR professional and things of that nature, I when my daughter told, I was just cringing.
It was a
So
nightmare. It was an
she
app.
was,
I wanted to call it.
I know she was doing a virtual training for a job. She had just started a job. This was early, right when COVID started. She started a new job, and so they were in the mix of training virtual versus going into the office. So one of the trainers, okay, was going through talking and training, and he was smoking a cigarette during the training, smoking a cigarette, and he was laying down smoking the cigarette, and he was talking during and blowing smoke. So my daughter sends me pictures of this during her training because she knows me, and she goes, "Mom, how unprofessional is this?" And I was bugging.
It
Like,
was
I was like,
so
"What
bad.
is going on here?" Like,
Yeah.
what? And literally, he's just, you know, it was crazy.
I.
So
It was
that's,
awful.
and
Yeah.
she was, I kind of had to coach her through certain things because she wasn't really understanding certain things, and she just was afraid to kind of ask because she didn't want to be put into a situation. And so, I was just coaching on how to appropriately address that without feeling like she was telling on someone.
Yeah.
Um, that's just, I mean, why are you, first of all, I don't know when was the last time you could smoke in a building, even though he was in his own home. I guess he smokes in his home, but you don't need to do that, while you're
It
doing
was
a
so
virtual
bad.
training,
It was so
like
bad. I was so blown away by that. So
I
it
had to
goes
send
both
pictures.
ways.
Yes.
It goes both ways when we're discussing, love your mug, by the way, when we're
Thank
discussing professionalism. You want to make sure that you're representing yourself in a great way, but you also want to keep your eyes open as to how that company is also representing themselves, because that may be a deterrent. You may decide, hey, I may not accept this position because this such and so happened, took for I don't understand it. Or you can refer to someone like Shaniqua, a coach or a mentor that can kind of walk you through it. Maybe other things to kind of keep your eyes open about, but also learning to be a little bit flexible and just understanding, how to kind of navigate through stuff like that happens along the way. We have a question. Should I bring pen and paper to take notes? I think yes. I do bring, I don't just show up with like a piece of paper or like a folded up piece of paper and a pen. I'll bring a folder that
you.
will have my copy of my resume. It may have a copy of my ID in there as well, but also, maybe a blank sheet of paper and a pen inside, just in case I want to make notes or, provide that person that's interviewing me with my resume. So you definitely want to show up with just a thin little, folder that you could break out, very simple, and be able to pass those things to the person that you're interviewing with, or for note-taking purposes. So yeah.
Yes, you most definitely want to do that. You want to make sure that you going back to the interview with the note taking, you want to make sure that you ask at least one question. So during the interviews, when they ask you questions and toward the end and they say, do you have any questions for us? That's the time you ask questions. Now, doing your research, preparing for your interview, you should have questions, right? Because we prepared and we looked at what the company was. I mean, you could, just, I would definitely, one question I would definitely ask would be, what is the ideal candidate for you in this position? What are you looking for? What is the expectations for this person? And let them go in with that. I definitely would ask, what is your time frame to fill this position?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Because sometimes they're screening.
Right.
Sometimes, they need somebody right away, but you've got, a couple roadblocks you got to kind of work through before you can start. So that's an excellent question to kind of always ask. That's a good
Right.
one you could just have in your little tool belt to ask.
Right.
For
Right.
sure.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Just prepare yourself for them to ask you, what drew you to apply to this position? What do you know about our company? What are you looking for? Like, one thing is write down some goals, because I've had someone ask me in an interview, what do your career goals look like? Or what is your ideal position? What is a perfect position for you? And see, those things could be tricky. So you want to make sure you're answering it in the capacity of the position that you're applying for. Don't just start saying you're in there for a cashier's job and you're talking about, I want to be an airline stewardess, or that was my one of my favorite jobs. I want to travel, but you're applying to be, work as a cashier. It could be, receptionist / cashier, and they're looking like, okay, well, maybe this isn't for you because you like to travel and we're not traveling on this job.
Yes, we
So just,
used to get
yeah.
people on that all the time, because not get them, but we would dive a little deeper when we ran into that conflict, because we had long shifts,
Right.
at the job that I would hire for. We would have like 8-hour, sometimes 10-hour shifts. Sometimes we needed to call you on call. So we needed you to really love what you were doing to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? So,
Most definitely.
we all
Yeah.
have passions. We go to school, sometimes we're going to school and we're working jobs, so that we can have money to be able to make it. But just find that happy medium of not going overboard on explaining like how passionate you are about something else when it has nothing to do with what you're interviewing for.
Right. Right. Right.
Mhm.
So that part of preparing for the interview, you get to figure out those answers to those questions to yourself is, what drew me to this position? What has me applying to this job? And so I wouldn't say because I need a job. That's just, I need a job or I need money. Like,
Yeah.
okay, what is driving you to get the money to apply to, like you got to think it through and put it
Yeah.
into a professional content for someone to want to hire you. You got to understand,
Absolutely.
we're applying for a job. I think sometimes we get frustrated, we get stressed out with a lot of our lives, that's going on in our journey. And we feel like the company's obligated to hire us. They're not obligated. A lot of states are at will state. They don't have to tell you why they're letting you go. They don't have to tell you why they're not. I mean, unless there's other things, and that's a whole nother conversation about discrimination and things of that nature. But you have to prove it. It's just a lot of different things, right?
Yeah.
That we can avoid if we just prepare ourselves in advance for it, and just it'll be a lot easier for us. We're not as stressed out. It's not as tedious and things of that nature when trying to apply for a job, and especially when you are looking for a new career,
Yeah.
and it goes back to what we always say, Toya, you are what you attract. So if you
Yeah.
want to attract a certain thing, you have to put yourself in a position to attract. You can't sit there and have a negative energy or a real vibe about you that, you're like, I really don't want to be here, but I'm here because I have to be.
I
That
have to,
is
right.
that's not a good sign to say, yes, I want to hire this person.
Right.
And also don't be so aggressive in an interview, because you don't want to scare people where people don't want to be around your attitude and things of that nature. Because there's a big thing now where they're trying to build a non-toxic work environment and more diversity. So, you want to make sure that, you don't have this negative energy about you where it's deterring people away, especially if you're working in a setting where you're working with people and
Yeah.
things of that nature. Um, so just work on those things. I mean, there's so many different avenues where you can work on your skills, you can work on your professional development, you can have someone help you with your resume, just to kind of get you started. And once you get started, you get used to it and you'll be able to do a lot of the things yourself and then maybe eventually help others,
Yeah.
so don't be afraid, just do it. I'm here to help. I've developed a organization or a company called Desirable Consultants LLC, and because of my background and experience, we help a lot of clients, staff folks, help them fill positions. We also do a lot of career coaching, where we help people with resume building, interviewing skills, even how to dress on an interview, what should I say, all of these different things that we do help. We also do a lot of training too, like training on different things that can help you better your skills in the workforce. And then we also will post jobs. So if you're looking for something, I mean, right now a lot of the jobs are cleared only jobs, but I will be expanding that here towards the end of the year and further on through the years, with other non-cleared roles and also intern jobs for a lot of college students. I think it's very, very, very important that these kids, if we're not creating jobs for them, we need to put them in a position where they can succeed. Okay, we need to put them in a position when they graduate that they have a job. We should not have a child that we spend all this money on, and I'm not knocking anybody's position or where they are, but they should not have to come home and beg someone for a job.
Yeah.
And that is one of my goals, because I have two young adults and I'm raising that are in college kids. And it's tough.
Yeah.
You go to school, you learn these skills, and it's very competitive. So we want to make sure that we are passing the baton to
Yeah.
the next generation and making sure that they're prepared and they're able to succeed in this world, and to make good money, because ultimately it's all about the bottom dollar.
Absolutely. I want to say a couple of things.
Mhm.
If you have a teenager that they're looking to get their first job or maybe even their second job, and you are busy, tied up, and you need to kind of direct them to someone that can kind of help them, walk them through this process, Shaniqua is your girl. Just reach out to her, let her
Yes.
know she can help your teen, get prepared from the interviewing process. I'm sorry, from the resume process to the application process to the interview process. Another thing for anybody is, I know when jobs hire you, you go through an onboarding process. And that onboarding
Mhm.
process can be really tricky. The paperwork, sometimes you don't quite understand, what a W-2 is, and, how to fill it out, and what those tax forms mean and what they look like. And, having someone like Shaniqua to maybe call when you get home with your paperwork, to kind of walk you through that. It's just a great person to have on your team and kind of help you out. Even the camaraderie and the friendship. So sometimes, you're on your way to an interview and you're struggling from anxiety or something like that. You just need someone to reach out and say, "Hey, I'm about to walk in here," and they just say, "Kill it," with the flames. You're like,
Right.
"Okay, who's
You got
I'm
this.
good. I'm going in
Woo.
here."
Really?
So yeah, so from all angles of, we have Journey Right, of just being super motivational and just being a supportive force and someone that's on your team. It's great to have someone like Shaniqua to be able to help you and walk you through that process. So
Yeah.
hit her up, just hit her up casually. She can help point you in the right direction, help you out, get you the information that you need. So um, I'm excited about all of the amazing things that's going on in the working force, and the give back that we can offer. So
Most definitely. We got one more question. What
oh,
kind of question what kind of question should I ask? So that a lot of, I think we touched on the questions. One of the good questions to ask is, what did I say? now I'm drawing a blank. What are the expectations that of this role? So, what are your expectations for this new person that you're bringing aboard for this new role? And it could be, you guys discuss those things during the interview, like some of them, but you want to get more in depth of what they're looking for. Like they're telling you, what the job description is saying, which you pretty already kind of scrub that and already know that. But you want to get in more detail as far as what's their ideal person, because you want to
Yeah.
be that person.
Yeah.
And then the other one, what's the time frame that you're looking to
Yes.
fill this opportunity? What do you look, how long is it going to take you to make your decision? But you want to put it in more sense of what's your time frame to fill this position? What are you looking to get back to me and letting me know
Yeah.
in that sense. But you don't want to say it like that. So I would just keep it to more so what is your time frame that you're looking to fill this position, so they can open up and ask that question. Now, this is something else Toya had brought up as well, and it goes along with the question. The salary. You should know that before interviewing, because you don't want to waste the time and then it comes out because it could be you could love the job, but it's just not paying, right? So you just want to
Yeah.
make sure that you know that offhand. Now, the manager may ask you, or the supervisor, what's your ideal job look like, and what are you looking for as far as pay? Just make sure
Yeah.
that you're in that range and you don't go outside that range, because
Yeah.
that could be one of those checks where they're like, well, they want too much, so we can't afford this person, and you just outbid yourself again. So
And it's
um
kind of hard to say, if the job is offering 35,000 and you're like, well, I really need, you have this really solid explanation on why you need 42 or 47 or
right,
whatever. And then, and they're not willing to budge. And then when you have to backtrack, it's just not going to work sometimes,
I
because they're
know,
like, you've already explained to me what you need. Basically they want to hire someone that's going to be happy on the job, and happy with what they're able to offer. So just be careful, when answering those questions.
yes, and just make sure
Um,
you do your research so that those can be some of your questions that you ask them, as well. Another good question too is, if they didn't touch base on this, is what are the hours? What are the hours of this position? And then depending on what type of work, will there be overtime? Now, if they ask, is that a problem? If you really want that job, you're going to say no, and you're going to work that overtime. Otherwise,
yeah,
you're going to, you'll say, whatever. And then you make a decision whether you want to work that or not,
yeah,
because if they're asking, it's because there's overtime.
yeah,
And 9 times out of 10 in the interview, they're telling you what they're backlogged on, so it's important to do your research beforehand. So when you go into the interview, you already kind of have in your mind what questions you're going to ask. Because if you do your research beforehand, you already have in your mind what questions you want to know before starting the job. You want to know
right.
certain things about, you know, the department, or, things of that nature. So I would definitely try to jot down at least 2 to 3 good questions to ask. And I just gave 2 there. The third one could be something that's related to the organization or the company itself that you want to know. Um, you can even ask about volunteer work. I've had a lot of people ask, because they're big people that like to big volunteers. They like to volunteer, like at the animal shelter, or at the community center, things of that nature.
Yes.
And they'll ask, do you are you big on your employees volunteering and things of that nature? That's another thing. And that's a good question to ask when a company is actively in the community. You
Yes.
have a lot of companies who are actively in the community giving back. So that's something that you've already known when you researched, and then you can ask that question. And then that's another question you can ask. So yeah, I hope I gave some good ones to
You
ask.
gave excellent ones. Thank you so much. I'm looking at the time, and it's so crazy because I think when we were discussing this show, we were like, okay, it's going to be us. So we were trying to make sure it
I
was
know I
chock
talk too
filled
much.
with information. And that's like, we will literally be on the phone for like 3 hours talking
I
about stuff
know.
like this. And it's just, it's such good information. You know what I'm saying? So you did an excellent job, just providing like so much healthy information during this time. It's been an hour and a half, so it's been good. Yay!
Thanks.
Yes,
But I just wanted to, we talk about this all the time. Just make sure
yes,
everybody's on board and try to share information, the information we have, that we know of, just try to share it and pass it along, because what we talk about all the time is, if we had us when we were younger, if we had us and what we needed when we were younger, as far as, being like that big sis or something, to share information on a lot of stuff we talked about: investments, real estate, now jobs, resumes, interviewing skills. A lot of this stuff we learned on our own. I know I was fortunate enough, and I know Toya talked about this too, having mentors in our lives and the working environment to kind of school us on a couple of things. And then we had to learn ourselves. And so we're taking this information and sharing and mentoring others. And it's all about giving back, right? Passing that baton so that we can all, I mean, it's enough out here for everybody, I feel.
It
You know,
is. It
you know,
is. And I feel like the biggest gift, and we say it in a lot of different types of ways, but the biggest gift is being able to give back, on so many different levels. So, maybe you learned something new, in the conversation tonight, or maybe, someone that, even if it's a young person, sometimes we think young people know everything and they don't. You'd be surprised, you know, they think they know, and, and it's just like, where are you going with that outfit on? You're going to an interview. Let's back up. Let's turn around.
like,
So,
wearing it.
and then the paperwork. Yeah. So, if you're consumed, or if you're busy, or if you want them to kind of have someone that professional they can go to, just align them with, someone like Shanique, or even myself will be happy to help them out and help them
Yes,
navigate
because Toya
through.
definitely has, she's been in management, the assistant director, then director, managing centers, things of that nature. She has, event management background where she's managed, vendors and
Yes.
grumpy people. Because
Yes.
I've worked with her before, and it's crazy because, Toya is so sweet and so cute, but when it's time to get that job done, she's talking to big grown men like, take that, put that over there. That's
Yeah.
everything. So, but she gets the job done. She's not mean or anything of that nature. But so she shares a lot of her skills also with you, with our audience. A lot of our social media stuff is all Toy. A lot of the times Toys will, or she'll tell me, here, you could do it this way, so I can help relieve some of that pressure from her. But that's her thing. That's what she does. She's teaching me. So, I talk so much. I wanted her to touch a little bit on that, which you can touch a little bit, like a few minutes on your your project
Okay.
management skill. Go ahead, girl.
So yeah, so just we're all about, right now we're all about, creating businesses and creating companies, and just taking our skill sets and the things that we've done over all of these years and creating straight up businesses. So
Right.
Nico and I both, we've over the past couple of years, we've created LLCs, and Journey Right is my LLC. It's my company. It's my baby. And Nico's is Desirable Consultants. And from that parent company, we've kind of branched out and created other little company pods beneath, that we're passionate about, or that's just, part of how we make our money. So anyway, Journey Right Business Solutions is one of my avenues. And right now, it's services that I'm offering to people to help them grow their businesses, whether they're a startup or whether they're an individual, a female that's just creating her first LLC for the first time, to just kind of help you, serve as a consultant, serve as someone that can help you kind of navigate how to get started, just like the very bare necessities. Have you tell me what your plan is, what your business strategy is, and then we just kind of lay the pipe work, and bring it to reality. So some of the services that I am offering would be everything from social media, to communication, setting up your communications, which would be your email and your website, and just a whole bunch of different services that can help you, get
With
started
your business,
with your
yes.
business. Mhm.
Even Toya is really good with business model. So
Yes.
departments and putting the right people in the right department to make it all work. I'll just give you an example. We used to, Toya had brought me in to help her on a project where we worked with, people. It was a sneaker events that they, would perform and have different shows in different cities. And she
Yes.
managed that whole process from vendors to the tables to guests. We had, they had people performing, and things of that nature, and just make it make sense. So,
Yes.
you know, and she was the only the only girl able to hold it down because we all know guys just don't get it. Things don't click. They're like one track, and then we try to kind of like put it all together, you know, um, and just make it work and balance it out.
Yes.
So that's something that Toya does very well, and
Yeah, structuring your business, figuring out what directors or what officers you need and put them into place, help you organize that. Your marketing, I was like looking for my list here. Your marketing, your research and analysis. So just kind of looking at your demographic, how do you want to market? Who do you want to market to? Your SEOs, setting you up with SEO companies, setting you up with editors, photographers, just to kind of get that whole marketing picture set up, skills training, administrative duties, customer service. Literally, if you need someone to help you organize your customer service strategy, I can kind of
mhm,
help you work through that, and for hire as well, help recruit people for that position. And then of course the last and my favorite is event planning and management. So your open
mhm.
houses, your any type of events that you want to launch or host, community events, fundraisers, I can definitely help you out with that. So Journey Right Business Solutions in full effect.
Okay.
In full effect. So together we're doing big things behind the scenes, and it's amazing. So, and it's cool. We love it, and we're making a difference. So it's an
Most
amazing thing.
definitely.
Um, we had some other things we wanted to touch on. Do you think we should go for 2 hours, another 20 minutes or so, and then we can shut it down, because I really 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 wanted to talk about a couple of things. So I hope that you guys got a lot of great information out of the service that Shaniqua offers. I'll go into my stuff a little bit more on another conversation, but I think we've given you guys some great information if you want to reach out to us behind the scenes to help you out with your business. So good luck, good luck, good luck, and we look forward to working with you guys.
Yeah.
Um, we are so excited. We got to give a shout out to the Universal Hip Hop Museum, because today they broke ground on their museum. I'm so excited. We've been rocking with them it's been 2 years now. So we've been rocking with them heavy. I visited and met, everybody in 2019. Nico went earlier, she
Yes.
went this year.
I went in
And
April. I was in April, and I got to
she
meet
went in
everybody.
April. Yes, yes, yes. So we want to give a shout out. We had Renee on Mommas with Commas. We literally had them on our show last year, and Renee was phenomenal. If you have not
Yes.
seen the show, you have to watch it. It's Chat 8. She is just a pleasure. She's the director of communications, and she has done a fabulous job, just getting the word out, interviewing, speaking with people, letting people know what's going on with the Universal Hip Hop Museum, because it's not just about hip hop, it's about education too. I think they got like $4 million from like somebody to like help with this museum recently. Like they are killing it.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yep. Yep.
Rocky
Yes.
Bucano is
Yes.
the executive director. He was like there, boots on the ground at their pop-up. You were able to meet him. He's just a phenomenal person. He'll break everything down, let you know what he has going on, but he's actually the executive director behind the project. And then his son is just a phenomenal person. He is the
Yes.
social
Yes.
media manager. They just like redid their whole website, and I was like, okay, the social media
Yes.
manager. So I'm just rooting for them. Right now you're going to start seeing a lot of celebrity faces in the mix. They've been behind the scenes and just kind of working on the down low until that ground broke, and today was the day. I mean, they were
Oh,
out in full effect.
I can't wait.
Nas and LL Cool J and
Fat
Grandmaster
Joe.
and Fat Joe.
Um,
Everybody was in the Bronx.
Slick Rick was there too.
Slick Rick, yes,
He was there
yes,
too.
yes.
Like they was all like I I'm like, dang, that would have been nice to be just, to take, because this is like this is part of history that we're building for ourselves. And when we visited back in April, you get to actually talk with people who are actually were involved
Yep.
during these times, and have, I mean, it is to the point where they've saved the actual flyers, guys, the actual flyers that the DJs made when they used to have what they called back in the day jam sessions and things of that nature. I mean, this just to actually visually see it, because you hear it, but for some people to see it, it's like it was a very good experience. I like what they're doing. I can't wait till it opens. It definitely will be something that will that we have control of, to tell the story of, and not someone tell it for us. And we
Right.
can bring our children, and we have a place for us, because you have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you have just different things, but we don't have something at this caliber where we can actually see what, like I'm a hip hop head. Like Toy and I talk about this all the time. Like I'm gonna have a autobiography. It's just gonna be music. Okay. Music of just my journey in life. Like music gets me through.
Yes.
It's like it gives me life. Okay.
Yes.
And I guess you could call us hip hop nerds, because we was excited before they even broke ground. They're in a pop-up, and we were like, oh my God, it's a pop-up. We gotta get there. We gotta get, and then when we got Renee on the show, we were ecstatic. We
Yeah.
because this is something that I don't think people understand. Like when we're excited now, and then when it comes together, people are gonna be like, okay, now we know what Toy and Nick was talking about. Okay,
Yes.
we got it. You know what I mean?
Yes, and then you guys are gonna be excited, and then we're gonna be like low key because we're gonna be hopefully in the background, doing
Exactly.
some amazing things to kind of keep spreading the word, and just sharing the knowledge. Every summer they have programs. Okay, so maybe I should back up. They have partners that have certain programs that they do individually throughout the year. So one of their partners hosts a summer camp for kids, for the youth. I think it's been like 3 or 4 summers now he's been doing it, and
Yes.
it's gonna join forces with the museum, and those types of things are the things that we are going to continue to share, and we hope that you guys continue to share too, because it's not all about Nas was in the Bronx today, this photo
It's
op,
more
but
than that.
all of that work that they're doing, all of that education that
It's
they're
dope.
sharing, the opportunities that they're providing for the youth, it's just going to be phenomenal,
It's
phenomenal.
phenomenal.
So
It's good for the community. It's really good for
absolutely.
the Bronx area, where a lot of it started from. And and they're good. The thing also too is they're good people.
They
They
good
are
people.
good people. Like
They
it's
are.
just, it, you know, I
And it's a family affair. I mean, to
yeah.
see Rocky as the executive director, and then Kyler, his son, actually he walks through, well, that's what he was doing when I went, and
No,
just
he
kind of
did too.
checking
When
up
I was there, he
when you were
walked
there,
through too.
checking up
Yeah.
on everybody that's there and offering knowledge and kind of pointing you in the right direction and running the social media. He's just done a fabulous job. So it just goes hand in hand with, how we feel about raising our children, just to kind of see them do what they're doing. It's been wonderful.
It's
It's
awesome.
been
And the
motivating.
And the thing I like about it too, toys, they're gonna do each decade. So like when the
Yes.
museum opens, each floor will be a different decade.
Each for
So
the
like
right.
right, so which is awesome. Like you just don't understand. And so right now they're doing like a pop up. So right now the decade that they have in the pop up is from 1980 till about
That's like
1985.
85. Yeah.
And then they said close to the end of the year, they may change it depending on how things go with COVID and stuff like that. They're going to change it to the 90s. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, if when it gets to the 90s, people, I'm going to be there. I'm going to go back.
Yes.
We're going to go back and check it out, because I mean, that's the 90s right there. That's my thing right
Yeah.
there.
And one more thing I wanted to mention about this is you can be a part of the museum if you have any type of items that you would like to donate. On their website, they have a donate button that walk you through the process, and you can see if your item qualifies to be a part of the museum. How cool would that
That's dope.
be? I mean,
Listen,
that's just amazing. So we want to give like the biggest shout out to the Universal Hip Hop Museum. We are so excited for you guys, and we're rooting for you guys big. This is
yeah.
amazing.
And you guys
Yes.
probably already saw we posted it. So we posted on all our pages. So
Yeah, we went crazy today and posted it. So we will remind you of Chat 8 and also of our visits. Nico got to post her picture when she visited. It was, it
oh
was just
yes,
like, it was great. So
I loved it.
um, another thing that I wanted to make sure I spoke about was mental health awareness. Mental Health Awareness Month is actually May 1st through May 31st. And it is, a month, 31 days to bring awareness to different ways that you can cope with mental health issues. Um, and just offer help, offer support, and because it doesn't stop, it keeps going. Mental health is a forever thing, and it touches on any age. So
Mhm.
um, the one program that I want to speak on is Taraji P's program that she recently started, and it's called the Unspoken Curriculum. Basically, it focuses on the African American community and mental health. So she has right now, actually, I think it started on the 17th and it's going through the 28th. But
Mhm.
she's having like a program, like a live program, and they're kind of walking through this program to bring awareness to Black youth and how we suffer with mental health, mental distress, and stigmas. So get familiar with it. They're doing amazing things. We actually went ahead and printed out the program. If we have some interest, we will host a forum like on Zoom. To talk about the unspoken curriculum and to dive into some of these really, really important points and issues.
Mhm.
But me, myself, personally, I want to bring attention to anxiety and panic attacks. I have been suffering panic attacks since I was probably in like middle school, maybe even younger than that. And my anxiety has gotten even worse over the past year. With COVID, not so much. I mean, I'm super flexible. I can kind of navigate through situations really, really well. But it's, just kind of being confined and not having my stuff and my ways to kind of release has put a little bit extra pressure on me. So it's
Mhm.
kind of ramped up my anxiety a little bit. And I'm trying to find really creative ways to deal with the different things that I deal with on a daily basis. And I want to give a shout out to the Hope Therapy. It's called Hope Therapy, and they are located here in Jacksonville. They are an equestrian center, and they offer horseback hippotherapy. So, the use of horseback riding as a therapeutic rehabilitation. And one therapeutic rehabilitation that they help with is anxiety. So, that's new to me, and I wanted to share that with you guys. I didn't realize that horses, like, you kind
Yes.
of realize it. I mean, you have like these service animals like dogs, and
Yeah.
right now
Mhm.
that's it's acceptable to have these animals to kind of help you cope with day to day and make you feel warm and fuzzy and not feel alone. But to actually know that you can go to nature and go to a place that where the horses are taken care of and actually get healing and therapeutic professional healing for yourself. It's just an amazing, amazing thing. So the folks over at Hope Therapy here in Jacksonville, Florida, I'm actually gonna start next month. I'm gonna go to hippotherapy, so I'm gonna be out there with the horses
So we'll
out
have to
in
talk about
nature.
that. We'll have
Yes,
to talk
we will.
about, of your experiences there because I
Yes.
think that's awesome. you have to, we talk about this all the time, self-care. Make sure you take the
Yeah,
time to really reflect on, the stuff that we need to work on,
yeah,
ourselves. Because, we want to make sure that we're healthy. We want to make sure that we're mentally stable. I mean, we want to keep our minds at a healthy pace, or a healthy environment. I think that a lot of times we're so used to just dealing with stuff that we have a lot of toxic things around us, and we don't realize it until we get to a point where, our anxiety levels, and we wonder why. But it's just because we're unbalanced at that point. We got too much stuff around us that we really need to start chopping away at.
yes,
you know,
yes. And it might not be forever. It may be temporary, or it may be
yeah.
forever. You never know. But you're absolutely right there. You're
Hmm.
absolutely right there. And just kind of incorporating nature, healthy eating, sound therapy.
Hmm.
We talked the other day about, is this time for us to kind of reconnect with and rekindle friendships?
Hmm.
I mean, I think we went through a period where we were like, I don't need that person, I'm good, I'm by myself, I don't got to worry about that. But then you look around, you're like, I ain't got nobody no more, because I just said that about everybody. Some people you got to be flexible with now. They not everybody's not perfect, So just
Right.
kind of like, reconnecting with people, and just, having healthy relationships, with
Hmm.
boundaries. But I'm excited about this therapy, and I can't wait to be able to share with you guys my experience. I'll take pictures, I'll do video, but they are accepting donations there. I'm going to put the Hip Hop Museum and on our link tree. I'm going to put Hope Therapy on our link tree. And I'll also put Taraji P's program, the Unspoken Curriculum, so that you guys can check those programs out. And if you want to give to them, that would be amazing too. So, all right. We touched on that and that. That was good. We shouted out the Universal Hip Hop Museum. And um, we are going to, we're going to start back up. We're going to be more consistent. We're so excited about, 2021 and the shows that we're going to be, bringing you guys, and the things that we're going to be talking about. We want to invite you guys as well to be on the chats. I mean, so on our link tree, there is a sign up if you want to join us for a conversation. If you have something that you want to share, if you want to talk about your business, your story, motivate, if you have a topic that you want us to discuss. I think the really like popular topic right now that people have reached out to us about is Bitcoin and
Yes.
cryptocurrency. So we're just trying to line up the right people to come on and be able to speak very plainly about that subject so that we can understand it. It's not really I mean, it's a forever evolving kind of like crazy. I forget the word that they kind of say, but it's constantly moving. It has its ups and its downs, and ebbs
Right.
and flows and ups and downs. And right now, it's cryptocurrency is kind of on the down. So a lot of people are like, oh, they're losing money. But, in the dips you buy sort of thing. So those kinds of terminologies is what we want somebody to kind of come on and get us familiar with. Thank you guys for asking us to have that show. It was crazy
Yes.
because we had like 4 people reach out to us like, can you guys do a show on Bitcoin and
Yeah.
on cryptocurrency? So that should be coming really soon. If you have some knowledge there and you want to, be on chat with us, hit us up, let us know.
Also, if
Um,
just on that too, like anything that's going on, like you want to give a shout out to your city, like your city's doing big things, like if they have a charity event or they're giving back, like I know a lot of places where during the holidays we're doing like food drives or collecting items and things of that nature. So if you're local city wherever, we would love to have you, on the show to talk about those things, because that's one of the things we talk about is, having a platform where if somebody's doing something in another area that's, helping the community, we can support and, bring attention to that, because we know how social media is in certain media platforms. They don't necessarily touch all of the things that, you know, we should touch on, because we have a lot of local heroes in our
Yeah.
communities that are really putting in that work and that time and their own efforts as far as money and resources to keep programs and things going. So, if we can help bring light to it and have people aware of it, I think that would be something that, would be good to help out in those ways. Because, I mean, I understand people don't have a lot of money at times to donate, but you can donate your time. You can donate, just sharing the information and providing it to those who need it and those who, are in that area that can, benefit from that resource and things of that nature. So I think that's another good thing.
Yes, 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 absolutely. I'm just going to pop up the unspoken curriculum is at the Boris L. Henson Foundation.org. So you can check that out. They're doing big, big things. If you're interested in being on a panel or having a discussion with us on a Zoom, let us know. Mental health is super important.
Hmm.
Um, and it should be, accessible to all. Let me just say this right here. The goal of the unspoken curriculum is to combat the stigma of mental distress by helping Black youth as well as parents, teachers, and administrators recognize the signs of trauma and distress. So it's just very, very important. So we're going to give them a shout out there. And also just want to go back and just put this so that you guys can see how it's spelled, how everything is kind of laid out. The hippotherapy with the Hope Foundation in Jacks, Florida. You can donate now. So we'll have that for you guys. Also, to be a guest on our show, I'll put that there so you guys have that as well. So yes, but we're rounding up on 5 minutes until 2 hours. We did a really good
Yes,
job. I am so proud of us for holding this show down. We had a lot to talk about again.
yes,
It's been, chock full of information, great information on how to go about the hiring process. We all
yes,
out here looking for new jobs. So,
yes,
Nico, thank you so much for that information. Desirable consultants, thank you so, so,
yes,
so much.
yes,
And
yes, yes.
thank you guys for supporting us. Thank you for supporting the chat. We really appreciate it. We are looking to grow our YouTube channel. YouTube has YouTube Shorts right now, so we'll be making like some really cute, fun little short clips to share with you guys to get you over to our YouTube channel. Once you get there, if you could subscribe, turn on your notifications, because
Come on.
when we schedule our shows, it gives you a little notification. It lets you know, hey, they got a show coming up. And when we go live, it also gives you another ding and lets you know, hey, they're live so that you guys can tune in. So
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Subscribe, share. Like, subscribe,
Oh,
share,
subscribe,
please.
share.
Please. And also, I just want to give a shout out to all the 2021 graduates. I know there's a lot of people graduating college and high school. Give a shout out. Y'all did a good thing. You worked hard. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to cheers you with my Mommas With Commas mug. Kisses and
Yes.
blessings all the way. Wish you nothing but success. You guys did it. You guys held it down during the whole damn pandemic.
Yes, you
So
did.
you definitely have something to talk about, that you were able to overcome a whole global pandemic. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
congratulations, everybody.
Yes, we love y'all. We'll be rooting you guys on. And parents, you did an amazing job as well. Families, you guys are just superstars, superheroes. So, with all that being said, we're going to get ready to sign off. We will be back soon. We love y'all. Y'all take care
Bye.
and have a wonderful
Wonderful. Nice weekend.
day. Happy Memorial Day.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Peace, y'all.